God damn. Hey guys, what the fuck is up, you guys? My name is emandan642 here, and welcome to the Awards for the best movies of 2019. This video was, unlike games and albums of 2019, there were actually a few movies that I thought were really good in this year. Like, I actually had a tough decision to make when coming up with the winner. So without further ado, let's get on with the motherfucking video. Alright, calm down. Okay, calm down. Yes, of course, yes. Avengers Endgame is on the list. Yes, it's a nominee. Alright. Honestly, what do I have left to say about the movie that hasn't been said already? It's a great conclusion to 11 years and 21 movies. Damn, that's a lot of movies. Like, it's honestly an almost impossible feat to make a movie that is a culmination of 21 movies so good. But I thought this movie was very good, and I was surprised that it was good. I really enjoyed Endgame when it came out. I think a big reason is because I wasn't expecting the movie to be super good. Especially since a lot of Marvel movies, in my opinion, are just kind of bland and boring and don't really do anything all that interesting. But that movie took it one step further and combined, I think it was 18 movies at the time, into something that was so beautifully made. And I really enjoyed that movie. I mean, the entire movie was just one really long action scene. But I really enjoyed it, and there was a lot of problems with it, of course. I enjoyed the movie overall. This movie does not work on its own. Like, no way, Jose. It does not work. But I would say it does work when put right after Infinity War. I think it works very well after all those movies leading up to this one. I think it works very well. The movie was like 3 movies mashed together. It was really weird. It feels like they tried to cram so much in just one movie. Especially characters. Aha! What? Yeah. The humor is just unbearable in this film. I like it that these films don't take themselves very seriously, but I think they should to some extent, obviously. But not to the point where it's just laughably stupid. Stop! The movie was too long, but it was also too short. Okay, what I mean by that is there were scenes that were way too drawn out, or didn't even need to be there at all. But at the same time, so much happened from the 5 years since Infinity War. Like, so much happened. Every character basically goes through their own character arc, which I love. I like all the character arcs, except for the ones I mentioned before. But the problem is we don't see them. We just see the aftermath of them, which of course you can't really see every detail, which I'm okay with that. But the fact that these characters matured so much from the 5 years that we didn't see them at all, it just seems like there was a big chunk of the movie that we just didn't see. It's just a little weird seeing how much these characters aged, and we didn't see any of it. But why am I not working today? But this movie was the closest thing that ever come to a true comic book movie. This movie is a comic book in film. This is a comic book film, and I really like that about it. The ending is great for the film and for the entire franchise. I thoroughly loved how the movie ended. I think it was very satisfactory, and I think it was good. It ends it in a high note. Obviously, they're still making MCU movies, but at this point, I think this is a high note that they may not be able to achieve again. And I like the movie. Okay, I fucking like it. Jesus Christ. Fuck you. Detective Pikachu. Alright. I don't have a whole lot to say about this movie, but there's some stuff I need to say. Shocking. So this movie was a good movie based off a video game franchise. Wow. I found this movie is very entertaining and fun. It wasn't like that hugely complex. It was just a pretty big, fun, entertaining movie. Fuck yeah! Ugh. Typically, Pokemon games don't have that complex of a story, so I wasn't really expecting or needing something that big and complex. Wait, what's this? What's this? Oh. And the story is good and works for this kind of movie. The whole world felt like a real place with real Pokemon, which is good, which I liked, which I loved. This movie was fucking terrible. It was terrible. Oh. Why? The writers gave a shit. And the writers put effort and time into the movie. Wow. That's not something you often see these days. I do appreciate that they did that. I appreciate that the movie was actually good and that the movie actually had time and effort and wasn't just a big cash grab. All the fucking movies. The movie's not perfect. The human characters were bland. Even the main character, at some points, he wasn't that great. He wasn't too bad. You know which one to play, bitch. What was I talking about? It stayed true to the source material, obviously being Pokemon and the Detective Pikachu game that came out like a year or two ago. And, well, the movie's not perfect, nor is anything truly that spectacular or truly something interesting. It's as good as a live-action Pokemon movie really could be. Alright. Spider-Man Far From Home. Wow. This movie was pretty fucking shocking. I saw this movie shortly after it came out, I think. And I didn't read or see anything about the movie so far, so I didn't know if it was gonna be good. I don't know if it was bad. But so that initial reaction, I was pretty surprised at how good this movie was. It's a very Spider-Man movie. It's this very Spider-Man-y movie. It's funny. It's about Spider-Man. It's not as serious or gritty as maybe some other MCU or superhero movies. Spider-Man is very different from Batman. Very different from Iron Man. Very different from Captain America. He's a very different superhero. So his movies are typically very different. So it was a very enjoyable, somewhat mostly lighthearted film. The movie's about Peter juggling being Spider-Man and being just a regular teenager, which has obviously been done many times before, but I think it's handled really well here. Really well. And it's also about Peter stepping out of Tony's shadow and becoming his own superhero. Peter truly becomes an independent hero in this movie, and I really liked his growth. I think the way it handled Endgame and how it handled the time skip was actually really good. Pants off. Mary Jane was a much better character in this movie. I didn't like her that much. In Homecoming, she was kind of boring. She was kind of, yeah, she's there. But she was a lot better. She felt like a much realer person. She felt like a much realer teenager. Also, Peter Parker and Mary Jane had a lot better chemistry, which obviously is something that's needed for a Spider-Man film. And it was done very well. Unlike most MCU films, this movie made me really genuinely want another Spider-Man movie. I felt excited. I felt like they needed one, and I felt like I wanted one. I would go pay to see another Spider-Man movie. Overall, very good movie. Surprising that it was good. Handled the previous event game well. Handled these characters well. They felt real characters. They felt like real characters. I liked the movie.
Wanna know how I got these scars? Well, I'm the Joker, baby!
Oh, jeez. Time for the big boy. Joker. When I first saw this, like back when it was announced, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be terrible. I thought it was gonna fail. Obviously, Jared Leto's Joker left a bad taste in my mouth. Suicide Squad was a fucking awful film. And this won't be the last time I will speak its unholy fucking name. But then it came out. It was fucking amazing. This film was so fucking good. Damn. Fuck. Hell yeah. We live in a fucking society, bitch. I thought it was a very, very good movie. Did DC learn their lesson? Did DC realize that their movies that they've been making for the past 6 years are all complete horse shit? Did they realize how bad they are now? Oh, wait a second. Birds of Prey? No! They didn't learn their lesson. They didn't learn their fucking lesson. They didn't learn their fucking lesson. Pretty good. So, Joaquin Phoenix was an amazing Joker. Like, he was great. In my opinion, is still the best. I think Joaquin is a close second. Much better than Jared Leto. He was bad. Jared Leto was fucking awful. Alright. This movie did not feel like a DC film. This didn't feel like the same kind of Joker I was watching when I saw Suicide Squad, which is a good thing. But this didn't feel like any sort of Joker I've ever seen before. It felt different from The Dark Knight. It felt different from anything. It felt like its own thing, which I really loved. The best way to put Gotham is disgustingly beautiful. It is a terrible place to live. It is a corrupt, disgusting society. We live in a fucking society, bitch. But it felt like a real place. It felt like a place where Arthur Fleck could truly thrive and become the Joker, which made it feel all that more real to me. The whole movie felt really believable. Arthur felt believable as the Joker. He felt like a real person whose problems are only getting worse due to the people around him, due to his environment. It is a great and believable portrayal of mental health. The movie doesn't glorify Joker's actions. It understands his actions, but doesn't romanticize them, like in Suicide Squad. It offers no easy answers to the movie's questions. And the movie really makes you think about, well, everything. It makes you think how and why the government can fail someone so bad. It makes you think about how a man who is protecting himself from being beaten up and robbed in a subway could start a whole movement about lower class rising up above the rich, the upper class. I think it was a very great film, and I hope DC learns from their mistakes. And though after seeing the trailer for Birds of Prey, I don't think they have. But I hope this movie stands as a reminder that DC can make good movies. Well, yeah, they can. El Camino. Fuck you. El Camino. A Breaking Bad movie. I watched El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. And it was amazing. It's kind of hard to review, honestly. It's kind of hard to review, especially trying to review without mentioning Breaking Bad, which is kind of impossible. But Breaking Bad is an amazing show. It is one of, if not my favorite show of all time. It ended somewhere where I was satisfied. And I, along with apparently a lot of other people, did not need a movie, did not need an ending to Jesse's story. But now that I watched Breaking Bad, I think it's vital now for the Breaking Bad universe, for the timeline. Jesse's ending in Breaking Bad was good, was perfect enough. And it didn't need to be fully concluded because it was it was ended pretty open-endedly. But every other important character in the show had their endings. Their endings were ended. And this is the closure we needed. It looks and feels like it's straight from Breaking Bad. There are connections and references to Breaking Bad, which I really like. They're not just like, hey, look, it's something from Breaking Bad. Hey! It's not used for something cheap like that. It's actually some nice callbacks. I did not expect the movie to have this many flashbacks. A large majority of the movie were just flashbacks. And they were actually used quite well. There was flashbacks to things that happened during season 5, all the way back to things that happened in season 1, which was great, which I really loved. It helped for closure again for the entire show. For Jesse. Vince Gilligan, of course, wrote this for the fans and for himself. He didn't write this for money. Clearly not, obviously. It feels like it's a genuinely, personally made movie. And it feels important and vital to the show that you have to watch after watching the show. Stop. Throughout the present scenes, we see how much Jesse is really matured. We see him win, and we see him move on with his life. And we see him get what he truly deserves. Though he has committed a lot of crimes, he truly is an innocent person at heart. He's a good person at heart. And we see that throughout Breaking Bad. We see that throughout this film. And I loved how he is portrayed. He felt exactly like how he did throughout Breaking Bad. Just more mature. Obviously, he's not like, yo, you know, he's matured. He is more like that. So they still remember how this character is. They still remember how he acts. And they remember how much he went through to get where he is now. We see Jesse win. We see Jesse get what he wants. Though, of course, it's somewhat of a bittersweet ending, of course. I mean, the guy is not going to be the same after the 2 years that he's suffered through. And overall, it was a very satisfying conclusion to the series. It left it on a very high note. Breaking Bad left on a very high note. I'm not going to compare it, but I would say it's amazing. There is no drop in quality from the show. It has been over a decade. It has been 11 years since the show started airing. There was no real drops in quality throughout the show. This was a very satisfying and amazing ending to such an amazing series. El Camino is an amazing movie. Sorry, I was thinking of something really funny. Wow. That was pretty good. There weren't that many great albums of the year. There weren't that many great games of the year. But there were some really good movies of the year. I genuinely had a harder time choosing a winner. They were all very good contestants. Actually, only 2 of them could win. It was either Joker or El Camino. And it was a really hard choice. These are 2 very different movies. I thoroughly enjoyed both of them so much. But I needed to pick one. And the winner for the Nga Awards Best Movie of 2019 is... Joker. The fact that this movie is above average is kind of shocking for DC. This movie was a surreal depiction of a man with real mental health issues. And it feels real. He feels real. The movie feels real. That is why Joker is the best movie of 2019. Fuck you. Ah!